I'm Zohair from Boost Logic in Austin, Texas.
Yo, this is about to really hurt some people's feelings, so if you a little sensitive, you might as well turn this joint off right now, okay?
How you afraid to drop a dime when you already dropped a dime? Got a wife at home, but you steady on my line. Talking about shorty, you remember when I grind slow? Did I really blow your mind though? Nah, you got me confused with your other booze. I've been peep game, so I never gave a cookie up.
Boost Logic was started in 2003, and we were focused strictly on the Mark IV Supras. It began with making turbo kits for the 2JZ engine. We made a turbo kit that allowed us to put the turbos we wanted to on the engines, and then we started selling those kits and shipping them out the door. We were shipping turbo kits all around the world, and as things progressed, people needed more components, and so we made it our goal to deliver complete packages with plug-and-play turbo kits, fuel systems, transmissions, every component that the customer would need to build their Mark IV Supra into a high horsepower vehicle. So our goal has always been to have a one-stop shop, whether we're dealing with an end user or a shop. Mostly we deal with shops, and we provide the shop every component they need to build the car from essentially mild to wild. So if we're talking, you just bought the car and you're looking to put an exhaust on, we've got an exhaust for you. If you want to do basic bolt-ons, we'll sell you the exhaust, the fuel system, fuel injectors, your tuning equipment. We'll set you up with a tuner who's, maybe local to you or who can e-tune your car for you. And if you want to go crazy, we can supply you a built engine, built transmission, every component needed to make, nowadays on the R35, 2,500 wheel horsepower, on the V10s even more. In the beginning, we didn't have the technology and the space and the money that we have nowadays. We were basically just two guys with a welder holding a turbo in position. Fast forward to now we get a car in, we scan the entire car in CAD, so we have an idea of the space that we can work with. We design the products to work in CAD through our vision and determine what our final product will be. So certain platforms, we do one turbo setup and it's sort of a set it and forget it thing. Other platforms where the users are constantly going after more power, and as turbo technology changes, we constantly have to evolve our product line to support those new turbos. We basically make it a little bit more modular, so we can change the turbo and we can put in a different turbo, a bigger turbo, a different brand turbo, and have our kit and components work around all of that. So with the R35, we've been making turbo kits since the very beginning. So we had the first full aftermarket turbo kit back in 2010. 15 years later, we have a lot of different versions. The new full bolt-ons on a GTR is an 800 wheel horsepower setup that's bolt-on turbos. FBO used to mean just downpipe exhaust intake, and now sort of the new meaning, we call it FBO plus, is bolt-on turbos, 800 wheel horsepower. So starting at that range, we have a few different turbo options, starting from a re-wheeled factory CHRA as the cheap sort of entry-level thing, and then we have our full cast replacement, which is our own investment cast, stainless steel manifold, our own cast compressor housing, and an internal wastegate setup. So it all plugs and plays within all of the factory piping. At this level, we have a few different turbo options. We have in the Ultra Spool, which is the Garrett G25 660s, now with the new G2 series available as well, and that's going to be a very quick spooling, really fun street setup. And then you get into the bigger setups like the 1050X, the 1200X, which is bigger and bigger turbos. The 1200X we've actually made over 1600 wheel horsepower with on a race application, which is wild that it would do that on a essentially stock style manifold. And that setup on Mac's car went 7.3s before he turned it into the race car it is today. So as a sort of street stock manifold setup, it went 7.3s. So it's a very capable kit and really good for a lot of people. Of course, everyone has different needs, so then we move on to the next. We have our 1300X, we have a True 58 and True 68. 1300X is a GTX 3582 setup that can make over 1600 wheel horsepower. It's a great street setup, very popular kit all around the world. And then after that, we move into our sort of class racing turbos. We use a 58 millimeter inducer. Those kits, we've got a couple different versions, but the higher performance ones of those are making in the 2000 wheel horsepower range, which is absurd for a 58 millimeter. But we build the kit and we build it around custom turbo specs that are designed designed for the class rules. And then we have our 68 kits, which are making 2,500 wheel horsepower, which is really wild to think it's something that anyone around the world can buy and install in their garage. 2,500 wheel range in the stock location, obviously a great feat, really awesome setup, and very popular for crazy people all around the world looking to make, that kind of power. Beyond that, we've never made, let's call it a full race kit, but now we are. So we're making essentially, it's going to be 3,000 plus horsepower range on a front mounted setup. We're going to be running G4788s. This is a kit that's also fully designed in CAD. We're using a lot of 3D printed metal technology on this, so a lot of the bracketry is going to be very cool and unique, something that this market has never seen before. Very few cars in existence are using this type of metal 3D printing, but we have some very cool and unique things to share with the community on that. Again, as we always like to do, overbuilding and engineering everything. It's going to be equipped with a 4,000 horsepower Garrett intercooler setup and large turbos, but the ability to go even larger. Our GTR product line has far more than the turbo kit, because you don't just install a turbo kit. It needs a lot of other components to make it work. Our progression of vehicles that we manufacture parts for, starting from the Supra, it's always been cars that we've been passionate about. And ultimately, it's been the high-end street cars that can make a lot of power. So it's not necessarily a Ferrari, because you can't tune that up to these crazy power levels. Starting from the Supra, then leading into some of the 911 turbos, and then the GTR, and now the V10, we're always looking for the high-end street car that can make the most power that street cars make. And nowadays, that's definitely the V10. The V10 is certainly an easier turbo kit to build than the R35. The R35 is extremely tight, and anytime you want to do something bigger, you have to really pay attention to, the firewall and the frame rails and everything that you're stuck working against. Every new platform we do, we are doing it with more technology, more manufacturing ability than we did in the past. So it's inevitable that everything's just going to get better and better. So going out to a race like Texas 2K, there's a lot of DCT cars out there, and the DCT cars being the GTR and the V10 specifically that are 99% of it. Out of those cars, I would say almost all of them have some component from us. Even for our competitors who use a different turbo kit or something like that, we have an axle program, we have our roll bars, we have a lot of different products that can be used by other people who are manufacturing their own, let's say, turbo kit that's like the major item on the car. But you need a lot of other components to make it work. Alongside our philosophy of making every single component needed for high horsepower, well, a lot of the components we make aren't made by anybody else, or we make the best ones. It really helps to have a lot of customers out there racing, because whenever we want to make something new, we have a lot of guys who are just chomping at the bit to try it. It allows us to do a lot more development than if we were strictly doing it on our own shop car and then going out and having to test it. It's great to go out to these events. We've got, in the GTR 68 class of Texas 2K, I think we had, out of 15 cars racing, I think like 12 of them had our turbo kit on it. We love GTR Festival. Having more events with more customers racing is ideal for all of our business. Whenever these events come up, leading up to the event, we have a huge surge in sales. Customers always want to go out and be quicker, and so they're going to these events to be quicker than they were previously. It's almost as important, arguably more important than winning the race, is going quicker than your previous personal best, especially on these DCT cars. It's just the way of how it is. Having multiple events throughout the year allows the customers to test new setups and push their cars harder than if they were only racing once a year, let's say at Texas 2K. So we're really happy with GTR Fest. Love that it's in our backyard, 2.5 hours away, and this is a great track. And the event is ran really well, it's organized well, and it's a great time to hang out with a lot of our customers and fellow shop owners and whatnot. So behind me we have my Lamborghini Huracan. I ordered this car to my specs and it came a year and a half later. By the time the car arrived, we had fully developed this product line. It was just a fun car to have. We build a lot of cool stuff here that I would say never makes it to the internet. We have a really cool open road car. It's racing like the Silver State Classic and Big Bend open road race. The owner has evolved the car through different classes and finally is at the top unlimited class, and he basically set the record in a GTR at 226 miles an hour. This isn't driving up to 226 miles an hour and still slowing down. This is flat out on the highway, holding 220 plus miles an hour for several miles at a time. So the majority of cars competing at the highest level of that type of racing are naturally aspirated. When you put a turbocharger into the mix, you have a lot of heat, and that heat has to dissipate somewhere. So we had a lot of unique challenges in building this car where we were seeing all of the temperatures skyrocketing. So we built a number of custom cooling solutions that we realized there's no market for. So they're all very one-off things, and I guess we've never posted about it because there's nobody that's going to buy this stuff. But it's something, it's a passion project that we've really enjoyed doing, and it's resulted with some very cool and unique products that we've made. Holding sustained high speed, you're going to see your oil temps just steadily climbing. So we did a dual custom oil cooler setup. We have one on each side of the car in the front. The next issue would be transmission temps. Car, it's an interesting deal because the gentleman's 75 years old. His goal was to attain this unlimited speed record, and he got it. And you would think he might stop. No, he's not. He wants to continue to see how much more he can push out of it and get out of it. We don't build a lot of customer cars anymore, as we're focused mostly on product development. But we have one that we're probably most well known for. It's a 2020 GTR, Bayside Blue, beautiful car, owned by a good friend of mine, Sebastian, in Houston. This car makes well over 2,000 wheel horsepower. It is a full street car. So this car has 17-inch rear wheels. It's not running 15s like everybody else, so stock brakes all around, and it still has AC, power steering, full interior. It has twin ID brushless pumps, so no mechanical fuel pump because there's certain restrictions to daily driving, that type of thing. And the goal for this car is it's a car you can daily drive. It's a car you can get in and drive from Texas to California, and it still has all of the creature comforts. We had a great outing with this car at GTR Festival, mid sevens at over 200 miles an hour. We were very excited about that. And coming back to Texas 2K, we were able to better that with another 10th in ET and I think another mile an hour or two. We're really looking forward to continuing with the car. With our handicaps, let's say, we're still able to continue to dig into a deeper ET and more mile an hour. Looking at this car, it doesn't seem like there's much we can do to this car, but people may have said that a couple of years ago when the car was making 2,200 wheel horsepower. So we're always looking for ways. We'll always find ways to add more power, add more performance while keeping it a street car and not sacrificing anything.